You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, YNR fans. Well, Chelsea and Adam did a thing. I suspected this was going to happen and it wouldn't stop at a lip lock, but will these two get a huge souvenir of their trip to Baltimore, Maryland? Is there going to be a baby bombshell coming after their tryst? This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about these two, their love interests back home, and the fallout from this huge betrayal. If you're not following us, please click subscribe, and now let's dive right into it. So I took a little bit of heat here when I predicted that Chelsea and Adam were going to hit the sheets and it would be more than just a kiss, but I was right. Not always right, but I was right this time. And they do indeed do the deed on the July 4th US episode. It aired July 3rd in Canada. In the promo for the week, they showed Adam and Chelsea kissing, and I knew right away this was the real deal and not some hallucination or fake out. You know, sometimes CBS Daytime likes to play tricks with their promos and show imaginary scenes that never play out in the storyline. Bold is much worse about this than YNR, but YNR has done it in the past as well. But I felt this Chelsea Adam thing coming from a mile away. Once they stopped bickering about how to handle Connor's OCD treatment and began leaning on each other, you could see YNR setting the stage. And then having Billy and Sally in scenes together, to me, was another red flag that trouble was ahead for these two couples. Chelsea and Adam on the 4th had some drinks, they shared some memories, then they kissed, then they fell into bed. It was actually some hot throwback stuff. It reminded me of, you know, them in their heyday, their chemistry, their history, all that. But once the moaning and groaning was done, both of them looked pretty guilty and regretful. At the same time, back in Genoa City, Sally and Billy talked about how upsetting this all is for Adam, Chelsea, and Connor, and how they wish as their partners they could do more. So Sally suggested they hop on the corporate jet that Billy's got access to, go surprise their partners in Maryland. Billy said he thought it might cause more stress, but you never know. Sally might change his mind. I mean, it would be something else if they showed up and found them in the room together looking disheveled and undressed. But by the end of this week, no matter if their significant others show up in Baltimore or not, official spoilers confirm that Chelsea and Adam make a vow to keep what happened a secret. There's a couple of problems with that, though. First, I wonder if this was a one-time thing caused by booze and stress, or is this the start of a secret fling between Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson? I mean, either way, it's bad, but them keeping at it and continuing to fool around is honestly so much worse. The second problem is I wonder if Chelsea could turn up pregnant. Not that the soap needs more babies and who's the daddy stuff, but it's standard soap stuff. They do this stuff. You know, somebody cheats, they turn up pregnant, then we have a who's the daddy, all that good stuff. Off the top of my head, I don't recall Chelsea being infertile for any reason. Like Lily, I know can't have kids. Abby can't have kids. But I just don't recall Chelsea being infertile. I do not recall Billy ever having a vasectomy. We know Adam is fertile because he got Sally pregnant last year. So I'm pretty certain either guy biologically could be the father if Chelsea turns up pregnant. And wouldn't that be so messy, because Chelsea has one son by Billy from when she drugged and raped him in Myanmar all those years ago. She has a son with Adam, the guy she tried to set up for murder a while back. And Adam and Sally have a pregnancy loss and that whole complicated history where they had a who's the daddy with Nick in the picture, and then she lost her child during labor and delivery. So I really do think that Sally Spectra would forgive Adam for cheating with Chelsea if it was a one-time thing born out of stress, frustration, anxiety about their son and him hurting himself, and a little booze in the mix. Billy Abbott, I suspect, would be a lot less understanding because, let's face it, he really, really hates Adam. He has struggled to get and remain on amicable terms with the guy, but Billy, because he's in a relationship with Adam's ex and he's close to Connor, and of course the whole Connor and Johnny being brothers thing coming out, he has tried really hard, and I think they have struck a good balance. But in the end, Billy still blames Adam for Delia's death. I personally blame that on Billy's bad parenting. I don't think Adam should have covered up his involvement, but Billy was totally irresponsible with the kid, in my humble opinion. You don't leave a kid that young in the car with a puppy and walk away in the dark. You just don't. Anyway, I'm certain that Chelsea and Adam's night of passion is not going to stay hidden, and it especially won't stay hidden if they can't keep their hands off each other and keep doing the deed. And if Chelsea does turn up pregnant, that would be a deal breaker for Sally Spectra, I imagine. A one-night stand, that can be written off as a mistake, but knocking up your ex-wife is a whole next level thing, especially since Sally was so traumatized by the death of their little girl. She wasn't sure she'd be a good parent because of her own messy childhood. She and Chelsea both have that grifter parent thing in common. But Sally was super excited about being a mom and sharing a baby with Adam, even though they weren't together at the time. He was all in. They were trying to work out the co-parenting vibe. And since then, Adam has worked so hard to get another chance with Sally. They were on that slow burn to their happily ever after, and now Y&R is just ripping them apart. I mean, Sally's only been living with Adam a few weeks. She barely unpacked, got some throw pillows and some knickknacks around the place, and now this, Adam has betrayed her. I really feel like Josh Griffith has just betrayed the fandom is what has happened. I don't think Adam and Chelsea would have cheated if Connor was doing well and they were all back in Genoa City, each dating someone they care about and co-parenting amicably. But the stress and the fear that Connor is going to damage himself in some permanent way with these physical attacks on himself because of the OCD, all that, and the fact that it could be life-threatening has Adam and Chelsea on edge, as it would. They were taking comfort in each other, and it just went way too far. It was a mistake, and a mistake that might be forgiven, but if they come back to town and keep at it, or Chelsea turns up with Adam's baby in her belly, this is going to turn into a whole nuclear meltdown. I predicted we might get a couple swap, and after Chatham's roll in the hay, you just never know. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments. Please subscribe if you haven't, and definitely come back soon. We are here talking Young and the Restless 7 days a week, and this is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.